right. We're going to start without Neil. We're going to call the school committee meeting, regular school committee meeting for May 4th, the Nashoba Regional School Committee. Call to order at 6 o'clock. We have a lot going on tonight, and we actually moved the most fun pieces of tonight up to the beginning. So we've got, first we have an introduction of our high school class of 2016 Valedictorian and Salutatorian, and I think Dr. Graham is going to do that for us.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to introduce our Valedictorian and Salutatorian for the 2016 graduating class. Anna Stevenson is our Valedictorian. Jessica. If you don't mind, I just want to say like a couple brief things about them. So I had the opportunity to get to spend some time with them back in January as did Dr. Bates at a luncheon, and had some information I shared then and I wanted to share now. Both of these two fine young ladies have taken very rigorous scheduled courses. I believe they both have taken about 21 honors and AP courses over their 4 years, and I think they're taking about 5 or 6 AP courses their senior year. To say a couple things about Hannah. Hannah actually studied the Spanish 3 curriculum in between her freshman and sophomore years and taught herself that so that she could take Spanish 4 in grade 10. For the past 2 summers, she's volunteered at the Therapeutic Horseback Riding Program. She's been a high school peer tutor. She was awarded the Pirazzolla Fellowship you may have heard about, our makerspace in the Media Center. She was the person who helped to drive that. And she has a real gift with languages. Not only did she do what I mentioned with Spanish, but she and her older sister taught themselves Irish because they wanted to be able to share their own special form of communication with each other. And each of them had a quote that they had selected for that luncheon, so I wanted to read her quote. No matter what happens, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful legacy to leave behind. Colin Ritzer. So that's Hannah Stevenson, Valedictorian. And then Jessica Duggan, also obviously an incredibly high performer, has taken lots of very challenging classes. National Honor Society, has been high honors all 4 years. She was awarded the Columbia University Book Award. One of the things I know she's most proud of is that she is an EMT cadet crew chief and has done a wonderful job with that. She's a 3-sport athlete. She is also a 2nd degree black belt in karate, which is pretty impressive. A little scary, but pretty impressive. And her quote was, "Kindness in words creates confidence, kindness in thinking creates profoundness, and kindness in giving creates love," from Lao Tzu. So, our Valedictorian and Salutatorian.
The district, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you both. Congratulations.
Thank you girls.
Dr. Bates. Dr. Bates.
Wow.
So do you guys want to share any of your post-graduation plans?
I'm going to Tufts University.
Wonderful. And what are you majoring in? Good. Let's go. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to Hillsdale College.
Wonderful. And do you know what you want to major in?
No.
Good. Well, go and have fun. I mean, go and study hard. Thank you both. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. That's a great way to open a meeting. Now we have a wonderful, another wonderful feel-good. I'm going to introduce Representative Kate Hogan, who's going to share with us some student recognition, and I'll turn that over to you. Kate, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorraine, and thank you to the school committee for having me here to present to Emily Recco and Joseph Tavis a recognition and a citation from the House of Representatives for serving as a legislator for a day at Student Government Day at the Massachusetts State House. And I can't tell you, we really look forward to it every year, and to see you all down in the chamber, in the House, up at the dais, talking to issues, trying to convince each other of your point of view, doing it with a great deal of respect, and looking like you're having an awful lot of fun. That's sometimes what it's really like as well. And so be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Joseph Tavis and Emily and Recco, serving as a legislator at the Student Government Day at the Massachusetts House The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Congratulations, Emily and Joey. You get to hold it open, I think, and you're going to hold yours open, and we're probably going to take a picture. I'm going to get right in the middle, and we're going to get comfortably close. Everybody's going to smile, just like you're a legislator for a day.
Congratulations to you both. And Representative Hogan, thank you for coming.
Always a
We
pleasure.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you so much
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
me.
All right, we're going to move into, the fun isn't kind of a little bit over, but we're going to move into coordinator food services salary range. So I'm going to turn this over to, who else was agenda item?
No, I can do this.
Okay.
So I want to thank Dr. Bates. He provided us with an extensive list of data of a variety of, I think, about 42, 43 school districts, and the number of students in the district, the student population, the salary, the work year for these positions. So I apologize, I didn't make a copy of this, but what I did was I took the data and I organized it. I looked at those districts with a student population close to ours, so our student population is 3,428. And so I looked at Drake, at Dennis, Yarmouth, Tewksbury, Wilmington, Nashoba, Sharon, and Canton. They have similar demographics in terms of student population. The DESE had information about each of those districts' FY14 budget, and the range goes from 41,782 million, 41 million, et cetera. The highest one in 2014 was 55 million, and that was Dennis Yarmouth. The salaries vary based on the work year, so I figured out by per diem. The lowest of the per diem was $284 a day, the highest was $414 a day, and then Nashoba's based on the salary and the per diem was $369. So when Dr. Bates gave us the original range, it was, I think, 69 to 74.
Right. Yep.
And so this sort of bears this out. It's in the ballpark. The lowest salary of the group of districts that we compare to is Drake, who the salary of the person there is $54,000, and the highest is in Canton, and that salary is $82,000. So I think if we look at the range that Dr. Bates gave us of 69,000 to 74, then that puts us in the ballpark of these other districts. So we didn't have a personnel meeting to discuss it, but I think we have to move in a timely fashion.
Yes.
So I think we can discuss it, and do we actually vote on it?
Well, but first of all, does
Sure.
anybody have any questions for Kathy? So what we're doing here is we need to hire
A food
a food
service.
service. You want to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, our current food service manager has tendered his resignation and will be moving to another district effective June 30th. So we need to advertise and putting this out. There are other districts that are looking for food service managers also, and they want this information also. So the quicker we can get this out, the better.
So does anybody have any questions? Neil?
What's the current range? What's the current salary?
For FY17, it would be 73,716.
Okay, so this is right in the same range?
I think it's the same exact.
It's close, with 69, Dr. Bates had said about 69. He wanted to advertise it at 69,000 to 74, and given this data, which I will send to Lita and she can put it with the packet, it looks like it's in the range. So it seems reasonable. It's competitive.
Okay.
I would say that.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the process? I know we advertise, who hires, who
Well,
interviews, et cetera.
after you select your new superintendent,
Uh-huh.
I would definitely want to have that person involved in the I'll facilitate the process, but
Okay.
have other people here and seek out administrators and food service
Okay.
people, get a a group of people together for an interview committee.
Okay.
Sound good? So you need us to vote on this?
Well, you have a policy.
We have a
Setting.
policy that the superintendent recommends a range, and we accept the range. So it would require a vote, I imagine.
All right, so you need to make a
So I will
motion.
move that we advertise the food services director position with a salary range of $69,000 to $74,000
With a 200-day work year.
with a 200-day work year. Thank you.
Okay. All
Is
right.
there, by the way, any reason to perhaps adjust the work year? Take this opportunity to assess that? Is there any?
I haven't heard of any, and you historically?
No, I think
I
it's
don't think-
reasonable.
If you look at majority of them
Yeah.
are around,
The ones that we compare to, the lowest one is 190 days, and then the highest one is 205 days. So again, it's in the ballpark.
and it fits right in with all the other coordinator
Yeah.
positions.
Okay, so I need a second on that motion. Thanks, Kathy. Any other comments, questions?
Just very briefly, when the food service director comes in here, it seems like that would be a great opportunity to identify, maybe work with the corrective action plan and so forth that DESI had put in. Do they get that leeway typically when they come in to sort of
They'll
do
look at
things
the,
on their own?
they'll look at
their
the,
own-
they'll look at their own part, yeah, just like your new superintendent will look at everything that's
Great.
start off
Thank
fresh.
you.
Okay, ready? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight? No? All right. Now we're going to move into old business. There is an agreement between the town of Bolton and this building, the third floor of this building. Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, as was voted by you to bring before the selectmen about the rental space upstairs on the third floor for moving the technology department. We have an agreement, an addendum to the agreement that has to be signed. You have to authorize me to sign it to give to your, the Bolton Town Manager and the selectmen.
Okay, so does everybody understand that? Any questions? So we need someone to make a motion to authorize Dr. Bates to sign the amendment for the Emerson Wing third floor contract between the town of Bolton and the district.
Is the lock storage room the only, is that what changed?
The locked storage room is
That belongs to
the
the,
town.
yeah.
Right.
Well, the whole building belongs to the town. They're just letting us use it.
No, I get that, I was just wondering, this is the addenda so that we can use the area that was...
That's correct.
The two
Oh,
rooms.
that's okay,
The two
I thought we
rooms
already
up
had
there.
agreement, okay. So
No,
the-
Well,
we
yes,
had a
you-
verbal agreement.
You had a verbal agreement. This is now signed, that you authorized
Gotcha.
to bring before the selectmen
I thought
before.
it was, because of the addenda, I thought it was a
Yeah,
change to
no.
what we were talking about, okay.
Just hold on a second. Do you have a,
Well, I just want to clarify, it's not an amendment to the contract, it's an amendment to the appendix. The contract is
To
not...
the append,
Yeah,
right.
the lease, I should say.
Okay.
It was not reopened, it was only the appendix.
so,
I move that we authorize the superintendent to sign this
amendment to the-
amendment to the
Appendix.
appendix.
All right. Do I have a second? Neil, any questions? All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, school committee meeting for next Wednesday. Kathy, I don't even want to talk, I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to look at you. So you are all aware, I asked you last meeting to work really hard to be able to put this on your calendar. So technically, we really don't have any school committee meetings that were voted on the calendar, and I'm going to be asking you to vote several more. But for right now, I really need to get this May 11th meeting on the calendar. Who cannot be here? And Kathy Codian's already told me she could participate by remote or remotely, but that still means we need a quorum in the room. Is that right?
Yep, the only ones I didn't hear from Lynn, you didn't respond to me. And everybody
Lynn-
else said they could be here.
And who?
Everybody else said they could be here.
Lynn, will you be here?
Yeah, they're on the calendar.
Okay. All right, so I need someone to make a motion to add a regular, actually, I think what we're going to, excuse me, George, George has a meeting at
I
Hale.
have a pre-existing parent meeting for a Washington DC trip that's been on the books for weeks.
You feel comfortable doing it on your own?
Well, I don't know what the agenda's gonna be, so.
Well, I think basically, well, we talked about this at the last meeting.
Yeah.
When is the MASBO report?
It's supposed to be in, but he said it would be here the next week, so.
Okay, so if the MASBO report comes in, then we'll dedicate that to a workshop for reviewing the report so that we can figure out what the priorities are. If it's not in, then we're going to hold a regular school committee meeting because we certainly have enough work to catch up on.
It will also be an organizational meeting.
It may be an organizational meeting. I have 10 days. So I may ask you to give me another meeting the following week, which would be within the 10 days I checked. Oh my gosh, I had an answer. See what he's doing? This is what he does.
I'm not sure we'll have a quorum of people after their terms.
Why wouldn't I have a quorum?
Well, you have two new people, right? So you'll have 6.
We may have, we'll have definitely one new person. We don't know if we'll have 2.
Right.
So how would that not be a quorum?
That sounds like it will be enough.
Yeah, or 8 seats. Okay, so let's go back to this.
Do they count as a quorum if there's an empty seat? It's not counted as a quorum?
It depends on the type of vote. And I don't know for the organizational meeting that it has to be 2/3, because I think I read last night it's 2/3 for the budget and 2/3 for changes to the bylaws. Dorothy's.
She's looking
Well,
puzzled.
once the election's happened, people can get sworn in right away.
Right.
Part of the committee.
Right, but what Mark is saying is we would need to do the organizational meeting, but I read that we've got 10 days from the election to do the organizational meeting. So if the election is next Monday, then the following Wednesday would give me, I'd have a window. Yeah. So what I'm asking for is, I need you to vote this May 11th date. And if the MASBO report isn't in, then we will do the organizational meeting and a regular meeting. If it's in, then we're going to do a workshop on the MASBO report.
On the 18th?
On the 11th.
What if it's not in?
If it's not in, we're going to do a regular meeting on the 11th.
So why wouldn't it be in? Because that's like a month, that would be a month past where it was.
It's been sent to the printer.
Okay. So
We're just waiting for the printer.
Thank you.
And so I wonder if I could push the envelope with you a little bit. If you would be amenable to adding a few more dates.
Can we officially add the 11th meeting?
Yep.
And then we'll go back and forth on what the other days would be.
Right, because that would be I'd hate to do it meeting by meeting.
Yeah. Well, I unfortunately have to speak to certain people at home before I can say if I can do anything past the
All
11th.
right, so let's get the 11th, the May 11th meeting. Can someone make a motion to?
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Personnel isn't meeting until the 16th, and there are some items that will need to be on the meeting on the 18th. So I know that we may have the MASBO workshop, but these have to be, they're related to contracts, non-union contracts, and we have to make some decisions about those.
So you need to add that to whatever we do for the 11th?
No, the 18th, because personnel has to talk about these things and bring recommendations
The
forward.
council's not coming to the 16th.
Yes.
So we definitely need to add an 18th meeting.
We already have a meeting scheduled
Okay.
on the 18th. All I'm saying is that I would like to have these things on that agenda.
Oh, all right, well, we can do that.
I just want to make sure
Yes.
before I
You
start.
can send me an email and we'll get that taken care of. All right, so we go back to where we're at, and that is I need someone to make a motion to add the May 11th meetings.
So I move that we have a regular meeting on May 11th.
All right, Neil seconded. All those in favor? You get to vote. It's unanimous. Thank you all. Appreciate that. I'm going to skip around if you guys are okay with that. I'm going to cover the correspondence, the consent agenda, and then item 7, and then we're going to take a little break, and then we'll come back and deliberate on the superintendent discussion. Does anybody have anything for correspondence? I didn't see anything in the packet. Nope, we got nothing. Consent agenda, any issues on the minutes? If so, speak now or consider them along with the warrants of May 6th. Approved. Okay. Items to be considered for next agenda. Kathy, you just mentioned that you've got
Do you want me to list them?
personnel.
Yep. Do you want to,
You don't have to give me all, you can send me the email, but what do you got?
We have to approve the salary range for the assistant principal position at the high school, and Dr. Bates has some information about the other assistant principal salaries that he'd like to share. We have to prepare to discuss with the school committee the longevity clause and the professional development clause for new non-union contracts. And we also have to talk about professional development and course reimbursement for those contracts that will extend, those non-union contracts that will extend beyond June 30th, 2016. And then we have to discuss the high school department chair position, and Dr. Graham will be with us. And I think it would be helpful if Monica Visco was there as well.
Can you ask Monica Visco to join us? And George would be here anyway.
That's our agenda.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's on the 16th.
That's on the,
Yes.
and that's on the 16th, so.
Yes.
So is that all that you want to also discuss on the 18th?
Well, I think it'll be the thing about approving the AP salaries and then bringing forward a recommendation for in the discussion about longevity in PD, and then looking at making a recommendation about PD and course reimbursement in existing contracts.
All right. So
And we really have a lot of that framed already, but we weren't prepared to discuss it last time, and.
All right, so all I want to know is what we need for next school committee meeting, for
Yes.
the bigger committee meeting.
Yes, the
All
high
right.
school department chair thing is going to go, we got to plan out.
Okay,
But
all
that doesn't
right.
have to come forward.
Okay, send me that too, if you would,
Yes, I will.
in an email. Mark, you had a question?
Additional items for the agenda.
Yep.
One is we need to move forward a process to put out a bid for an auditor.
Yeah, I wondered about that, yeah.
We may need to withdraw a delegation we gave to the Audit Advisory Committee because they haven't really moved forward, something we need to act on.
Okay,
So that should be on the 11th. We should act on it, do that.
The
sooner
11th?
rather than later.
okay, so you bring a recommendation forward?
The Finance Committee may have a recommendation. We're going to meet on Monday.
So you're going to have a recommendation, right? We need to know what you want us to do.
Sure.
Okay.
Either individual members of the committee will have something to say.
Have a point of view rather than
Yeah.
just asking us to talk about it, because we don't have perspective.
And the Finance Committee made a recommendation for a motion to cause the superintendent to appoint municipal representatives for collective bargaining. I'd like to bring that forward on the 11th as well.
Okay,
So that to notify the towns that they should act to appoint somebody for the municipal process, and so that they can
participate.
Participate.
Okay, all right. One second.
The Finance Committee might or might not have additional items because we're meeting Monday morning before the opportunities for notice
That's okay.
happens.
Yeah, so just let me
So
know.
I have to let you know if there's any more news on that score.
All right, you believe those need to be on the May 11th agenda? Okay. And Kathy's are on May 18th.
Yes.
Do you have anything?
And I would like second readings of all of the policies that we did not have to edit and a vote.
Is that the 11th to the 18th?
Anywhere we can get it.
Okay.
We also have the third quarter financial report.
Alrighty then.
And we're not going to be able to get the mask subscription. Somebody's going to come in
Make
and talk with us about
presentation.
Yeah, I
this.
think
So we're not going to be able to do that.
We can push that off.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to start the.
Anything else? No? All right. Okay, thank you for that. I think at this point, if, before we move into deliberation on the superintendent discussion appointment, if it's okay with you, I'm going to suggest we take a 10-minute recess. And the school committee just needs to remember that we're still in session, we're just taking a recess, so no discussion about school committee business, okay? Thank you. All right, thank you everyone and welcome back. Okay, so we are going to be now entering into the discussion relative to the superintendent, and so the way we're going to work this, after some wonderful counsel from Dorothy Press, our MASC representative, who's been with us in lockstep through the process, is we've got a few different votes that we need to take. Nicole's going to walk us through what those votes are when we get to that point. I want to remind everybody that we're discussing the three candidates' attributes. What you say in public could have impact. Choose your words wisely, please, and carefully. I'd also like us to be very cognizant of the fact that we need to do this structured so that everyone has the opportunity to speak. It doesn't mean I don't want there to be discussion. I just want us to be controlled in the way we do it, respectful of each other's opinion, okay? All right, so the first thing we need is a motion to move into the discussion. Nicole?
I move that we proceed to the discussion related to the superintendents and an appointment of a superintendent of schools.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Kathy seconded. All those in favor? Neil, are you? Okay, he's unanimous. Oh, Lordy. All right, so before we move to the next phase, I'm going to ask Nicole to read the qualifications that we all agreed to and voted on and posted in the brochure when we started the process. I want you to keep this in mind because these are the things that we said we were looking for in our ideal candidate.
The new superintendent should be an energetic, dynamic individual who can motivate and engage all stakeholders. The successful candidate will possess the following qualities, skills, and qualifications. Maintains high expectations for all learners. Demonstrates commitment to academic excellence. Proven record of fostering collaborative environment. Ability to maintain positive relationships with community members, school staff, school committee, and town officials. Commitment to policy and long-range goal developments, staff evaluations, contract negotiations, and professional development. Knowledge and experience in budget and fiscal development, oversight and communication of budget issues to the public. Success in recruitment and retention of high-quality staff. Demonstrated experience integrating technology with instruction delivery. Strong managerial and supervisory skills. A minimum of 10 years in education, including teaching experience, and 5 years of central office and/or administrative experience.
Okay, so we're going to take this in two phases. The first phase, I'm going to ask you guys to report out on your on the reference checks. Each one of you got a couple of reference checks to perform, and I know others did them. This is not about opinion, this is sharing the facts. So what did the reference have to say? And then in the site visits, what were the things that you saw? Again, this is not opinion. We're going to get into that in a little bit because there are some of us that didn't go to all of the site visits. There are some of us that didn't speak with each of the references. So you're informing your peers as to the information that you gathered, so we're all gathering from the same information, okay? Reference checks. Kathy, did you do any?
I had two. My first was with for Brooke Clenchy, and it was with Kathy Stickney. Kathy was working in Ashland, first as a teacher and then in the central office when she helped to hire Brooke for the superintendent there. Kathy is now a superintendent herself. Brooke was her boss, and she wanted Brooke to get hired when she had interviewed her. It was a pivotal time in the district, she had said. Brooke's communication was her strongest skill set, during the tumultuous, I can't say that word.
Tumultuous.
Thank you, time in Ashland, where teachers were feeling disengaged, the schools needed to be reconnected, the focus needed to be turned back to the kids, and Brooke did all of those things. And she went right out into the community immediately. Whatever she heard, she kept a log of issues, strengths, and what they needed to do to turn the district around. Kathy said an example of her collaboration was there was an older building in the district, and she needed some quick wins with the community, and it was something that she could focus on was the auditorium. That was one of the things people were really upset about because no one used it. It was completely run down. So she got a very, very large group of constituents. PTA Educational Foundation, which is a foundation for fundraising in their district, a group of middle school staff, the maintenance staff, and a group of students, and put them together to create ideas, to connect, and to work together with a vision and an improvement plan. And immediately they turned that into a place they could use and feel pride in, and it brought a bunch of people together. So that was her example. She also said her main gift was to bring people together, to listen, to share the workload, to trust people to do their job, to make sure results were getting done. She said she watched her grow as a manager somewhat because she came in as such a strong manager. She didn't really watch her grow as a manager because she felt like she was already a confident leader. But she did say that one thing she saw in Brooke was that she knew her strengths, but she also knew where she needed support, where she didn't have strength, and found people to fit those positions where she knew she needed to lean on someone, and she was totally comfortable doing so. She said the current situation when she came in was that they were very overcommitted. They had the educator evaluation, the race to the top, too many things on the staff. So she kind of tried to slow things down and try to get a vision and a goal. She said right before she came in, Ashland also had 2 years of cuts. So there was a real feeling of being defeated. She said managers of each section had the pulse on their current budget. So Brooke went and worked directly with, managers of each section of the budget. And then she started doing weekly checks, so she could do a check on grants, managing grants, on making best financial decisions with what they had, and really trying to figure out collaboratively, say that word.
Collaboratively.
Thank you. Where they could spend money and get the best bang for their buck. She said her moral compass was right on. She said the first question Brooke asked every group when she came to the district was what's happening with the children. And the first question she asked in every budget meeting is what's the impact on the student. So that was two things. She said those were two things that she kind of took with her because Brooke is kind of one of her mentors, and two things she kind of keeps as her two questions. She said one interesting story was on her first day, she had already worked with her a bit over the summer, so she had already known her, but on the first day where everyone was together, Brooke showed, the first thing she did was show a music video, and it was a song, and everybody was kind of sitting there just watching it, and a lot of people were like, why are we watching this? And it was kind of long, but I guess it was one of her students. And she then told the story how the student was very disengaged, and when she was a teacher, she saw him pulling away, and how doing a few simple things and being able to connect kind of brought him, and maybe it wasn't academics he was connecting with, maybe it was finding the music department for him, but kind of being aware of every kid and how you can make a difference in every kid's life. And I guess he's like, I'm going to say the wrong, I think he was Nickelback's lead, but I think
Oh my. I know Chad.
Was it Matt?
I don't know if that's really the right, I thought I heard, but maybe some other group, but it was some famous guy. And that was hers.
So hold on, before you go on, let's, did anybody else have any, more conversations about, Brooke Clenchey? Kathy, you did?
Well, I have a couple of colleagues who worked in Ashland, and I reached out to them. Do you want me to wait until everybody does the official
Yeah, let's do
ones?
the
Okay.
official ones first. Who else, was it Lynn, did you have one? Okay.
I talked to Michael Barbaro, he's the one that broke down.
Okay, wait, so when he broke down, no, it's okay, no, it's okay. The reference is, when we did the site visit for Brooke Clenchey, there was a gentleman who was a former chair of the school committee who was driving in to meet with us for 20 minutes to talk to us about Brooke, and he broke down on the side of the highway, and he insisted on still talking to us. He had to call back a couple of times. So that's what you mean, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't break down in the meeting.
So when he met her, he was on the school committee, he was the school committee chair, and he is now the chair of the board of selectmen for Winchendon. And they had hired her, and he absolutely loves her, he says. And again, he said that her moral compass is right on track, he just loves her, she understands everything, and she gauges everything. One interesting thing that came up was, we were talking about the budget, and he said, it was really interesting because they had to let the business manager go right in the middle of the budget, because she understands it all. He says she gauges the community, she gauges people, she gauges how they do their work, and he just wasn't doing it, so she took it over. And he said she knows it all. She's very collaborative with the union, the MSBA, the MASC. There was a boiler system that she organized that came in on time and on budget, actually under budget. The town of Winchendon did not understand, and the finance committee did not understand finance or the budgets for the schools. And she went in and explained it to them, and they had an understanding. She partnered with companies for gifts. They did not pay the teachers, but they did pay for technology. And so she worked that out. He said one of the advantages of hiring her is because she works with DESE, she knows what's coming down the pike, and we can be more proactive. And he thought that was a really good thing. So we'd be prepared and be proactive with whatever's coming up. She's taught in the classroom. She's been a vice principal. She's been a superintendent. She's got great perspective. She always learns, and he doesn't think that she'll ever stop. And she's really big on healing. They did not have a lot of money at the Winchendon schools. Their budgets were really low. And so they implemented an at-risk program. She never saw what they ended up coming up with, but she was instrumental in getting that going. She advocated for all of the gifted kids at all times. They had a music program that stayed fluid, and it was a feeder program to the high school, so it was first grade all the way up. And she was very proud of that. She kept that going. Programs. She helped the staff identify the at-risk kids. And she opened up a virtual high school for the challenged kids, so they could be more collaborative. So they actually would teach themselves with virtual high school, so if they knew the information, they would. But they were tight on budget, so they did what they could with what they had.
Is that like an alternative program?
No, they were in the classroom, it sounded like, and what happened is they allowed them to take other classes so they could, online.
Oh, online.
Yeah, it was online.
Okay.
She goes to her people, she would actually go to her staff. And one of the examples he gave, they went to the maintenance people. And she said, what do you need to do your job? And they said they needed an auto scrubber. So she went out, and when the auto scrubber showed up, she rode the auto scrubber to show them how it could be done and how she wanted it done. And she says, we're here to make your job easier, and she did what she can to help them.
Okay.
All right, and she's a full believer in differentiated instruction. Train smarter, to help the kids and help reinforce what they need. And he said the district was her baby. Kids got everything they needed, and they provided them with whatever they needed. And she did like low students ratios. And he said to this day, she had a personal relationship, and to this day, under her leadership, the district is still moving forward based on what she set up. And she was there before she went to Ashland, I believe. So it's been a while. And they're still moving forward on what she set up.
Great, thank you, that's good input. Kathy?
Oh, okay. I talked to two individuals who are, one was an assistant principal at the middle school and now is an assistant principal on the Cape, and another individual who is currently an assistant principal at one of the elementary schools. And there were a lot of similarities in what they had to say, just in terms of they were struck by the way that she always reached out and included the assistant principals as part of the administrative team. She wanted to know what each person's strengths were and have them, to know what everybody's strengths were so the district could best take advantage of their expertise and they could be teachers of teachers. She said, one of them told me that Brooke would bring women administrators to a leadership conference for women. I think that was run through NASS. Very good, clear communication. Again, likes to include people in decision-making. One of the women said that when she was hired, she had a one-year contract, and Brooke came to her personally at the end of her first year to tell her she was giving her a 2-year contract. She just didn't send it along and have the principal do it. And she thought she was impressed with how she personalized everything. Said she's a straight shooter, has high expectations for everyone, and you know where she stands. The other person I talked to talked about the admin team meetings and that Brooke was good at facilitating them, and they always had a topic and kept things focused and on track. She has high expectations for people, but also emphasizes the importance of taking time for yourself. And both of these people I talked to felt that she really cared about them as people. It wasn't unusual for her to stop by and go into the assistant's office when she was visiting and chat. Excellent communication skills. One of the people that I worked with who was an exceptional teacher, now she's an AP, said that you could tell that Brooke was an excellent teacher because the way she was able to help parents and teachers understand new ideas and work with them to understand, and she saw that indicative of somebody who had been a good teacher or was a good teacher. Team player, always prepared. And she said she never let you see her ache. If something was wrong or going on, you would never know it. She brought her A game and was always prepared. Let me see. She said that you could tell by the way that she spoke to people and about the district that she was very proud of the school system, that she was proactive with the teachers union. And she talked about the opening day speech, Kathy, and I think she said it was it might have been, it was either Matchbox 20 or Maroon 5. There was a number in it.
Maroon 5?
Is everyone famous?
But she said, but it was the same thing. She played this song, and it was like, well, what's this about? Type of thing. But she said that her opening day speech is very inspirational. So.
Anybody else have any reference checks on Brooke Clenchy? I did speak with a former, her former but current in their district finance manager. And the only other thing I could add to this that I thought was interesting for you folks is that she actually coaches the school committee. And every year she has, at the beginning of the year, a finance and budget 101 program that she puts together. She puts the presentation together based on who she has in the room so that people understand from their perspective what's happening in the budget. And if people have been there for a while, she'll take them further. If they're new, she'll start them out earlier. So I thought that was interesting, and then I heard similar things to what you folks had said. Okay, site visit with Clenchy, and then we'll move on to the next candidate. So who went to the site visit? Mark, Nicole, Lynn, myself. Sean O'Shea and Alita Masterson also came. We invited Sean, who's the principal of Mary Rowlandson, so that we could understand the school administration, school-based perspective. And we asked Alita to come along because we trust her and because she would be working so closely with this person, and we wanted some input. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but you did share your input with me. So I'll represent your comments as we move along, as well as Sean's. But on the site visit, can you give me some input on what you thought? Nicole?
Well, on all the site visits, I did take what people were saying, and I tried to get the theme of this person. And so I would take tally marks when I would hear the same the same words over and over and over. And so you'll probably hear the same kind of format from me for these three. What I heard over and over for Ms. Clenchy was that she can recognize talent. That was the big theme in her, and that basically her vision kind of boils down to shared effort and really taking pride in fixing things and moving them forward. There were a lot of other really great words that were thrown about her, but I would say if I was going to put her into one word based on that visit, I would say she is a mentor above all.
Okay. Mark? Lynn?
Check my notes.
Lynn?
I have a lot. One of the things came out was they said that she transformed the culture of DESE as far as the workplace. People now enjoy going to work. They liked what they were doing. It wasn't drudgery. They were surprised that one person could do this. I mean, she came in. They said her laugh was genuine, but people wanted to work there. They enjoyed going to work. And I thought that was great.
I went on that site visit too, and I think the thing that struck me the most was, and I agree with Nicole, there's a theme to the comments. So you really start to see the personality of the person based on who they're currently working with, who they were working with, and there were two things that struck me. One is each of the folks that we talked to, whether on the phone or in person, had worked with her in a capacity that they've now surpassed, and they attribute her for their ability to move forward in their careers. And I think a mentor's mentor is something that I heard that day, and I think that's exactly what she is. And I think the second point I would make is it was so impressive that people would drive from Rhode Island, from New Hampshire, from all different parts of the local area.
Call from the side of the road.
Call from the side of the road, waiting for a tow truck to come move his car, just to have 10 minutes to speak to us about Brooke Clenchy. Like that they were that, it was impressive. That was impressive. So I would add that. Mark, you must be ready now.
Outstanding themes that I recall are her ability to get the group of people to find the excellent qualities in each of her staff members and make use of that excellent quality, whatever it may be. And likewise, also to have high expectations and strong delegation skills without micromanaging, in the sense of I'm expecting you to do this, but I know that you will figure it out, and I expect you to figure it out. So calling people to challenge themselves on what they're capable of is a strong theme that I came away with. And along those lines, in terms of challenging individuals, it's challenging people collectively to work together and to have a strong esprit de corps in the sense of united understanding of the direction that everyone is headed in, so that there's a climate of unity towards what the mission of the organization was.
And I want to share something that I heard from Sean O'Shea. He spent quite a bit of time giving me his input on all three candidates, and his observations were really insightful, and even his questions when we were at the site visits. I think we learned as much listening to him ask his questions as he may have through the answers. So thank you again for letting us invite a member of the administrative team, and we certainly appreciate, Alita, your input as well. He said she has a clear vision and a plan, and she gets the bigger picture. And he also said, I think it's important for people to remember that she was tapped on the shoulder by the commissioner, who asked her to come in and restructure a part of his organization that needed to be restructured. And one of the people at the site visit said, she knows how to give bad news, but do it in a way that you come away from the discussion knowing that it's the right thing to do, and it's not an uncomfortable, awful situation. So I'll leave us with that. Any more comments on the site visit or on the reference checks on Brooke Clenchy?
A couple more additions on the site visit. That one of the outstanding things that was clear was that more than one person said that she doesn't tolerate people that are not part of the team and not pulling together, and that she was very personal in her conversations with people about what is necessary in order to accomplish what in her mind was necessary for the organization. And I think I heard numerous times about her excellence in relationship building as a foundation to all of the climate change that she was able to pull off in the organizations that she was involved in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. If there aren't any more comments, to the next candidate, Patricia Lally. I know. I had to figure that one out. Who did formal reference checks on Patricia Lally? Kathy and Mark. Mark, you want to go ahead?
I spoke with Dr. Marsha O'Neill, who works with Dr. Lally in North Reading, and also had more recent interactions. She's part of the Department of Regional Assistance for the DESE, and she worked with Dr. Lally in her role with the DESE in relation to Holbrook and improving of Holbrook's schools upon her arrival. In North Reading, she basically remarked how it was a exciting moment of change and leadership shift in the North Reading High School. She was involved with curriculum. They too were involved in curriculum development for the high school, and sort of change of leadership where they're shifting towards sort of reinvigorating the teaching climate and teaching and learning in the high school, and raising the standard of expectations among all of the teachers and administration. And just talked about how it's a great opportunity, and that the joint work that they did together she held in high regard, and continues to be memorable, and actually will become the basis of their continuing relationship and friendship. I asked her about her ability to read people in meetings, as well as relationship to having high moral fiber, and says that she's just an excellent read of groups of people as well as individuals. She's eager and able to bring people along to her mission, I guess, her educational mission, and part of one thing that she mentioned was that one of her methods was to bring along the people who are willing, and those who are not willing and able will be left behind, and they get to decide whether they're going to participate or not by showing them that they're being left behind. So kind of leadership by demonstration about how you can get a whole group to move forward. She remarked on looking at data for Holbrook and looking carefully about disaggregating the data and trying to figure out what it was about their school that made it a level 3 school, and figuring out exactly what the spots were and what it is, either the teaching or the staff, that could focus on whatever difficulty that it was, and being able to act very particularly in response to the information that the district already had in their data on stuff. What else could I say? She's certainly seen her have growth as a manager, just seeing her as a growing and learning individual, and grow to understand the situation, and both challenges herself as well as in her staff, challenging and rewarding people for taking on work that they may not even know that they can do. I think that summarizes most of it. Her main thought that she wanted to convey was just her excellence in just personal relations with people, and getting people to understand the educational situation they're in, whether it's perhaps people not in the schools, municipal individuals that are unaware of what the challenges are that the schools face, and being able to bring people in to understand that.
Okay, thank you. I spoke with Dr. Patricia Oakley, who's the superintendent in West Bridgewater, and they have been colleagues for a number of years. They started off in North Reading. They were curriculum directors, and the comments that she made to me focused on everything she does is centered in her love and care for kids, and making sure that their needs are met as people and as students. And she said that it's something to see when she can talk to any child, any student, and kids are drawn to her when she is in the buildings, that it's wonderful to see, and she really relates well with the students. She says she's a great communicator. She's very easy to get along with, and she's had to, well, they haven't worked together. They're part of Superintendent's Collaborative on the South Shore, and I guess they talk shop. But she did mention a couple of things related to her work in Holbrook relative to getting the new school, and how she facilitated that process. And it wasn't an easy one, but with her patience and her dedication was able to bring people on board and get that passed. She also talked about another issue in Holbrook, to change the system for curriculum leadership in Holbrook. I guess they had a traditional department chair system at the high school, and curriculum coordinators either elementary or at the middle school, and she changed it to a K-8 structure. And change of a long-standing system like that is difficult, but she managed it by listening, being open to other people's ideas, and working with people to change the system. Again, she spoke about the work that Dr. Lowry did in working with teachers to understand the work that needs to be done to improve learning for students, and that while the goal might have been to move the district from a level 3 district to a level 1 district, the real focus was on teaching and learning, helping teachers understand what they could do in best practice to improve learning for students. And so the goal was to help the teachers be better teachers to improve learning for students, and that resulted in the increase in the test scores.
Any other references on Dr. Lally? And if not, who went on the Dr. Lally visits? Nicole, Mark, and Lynn, and Sean. Okay. Lynn, why don't you give us input? Not opinion. Remember, this is done. No, not just you. It's a reminder for all of us.
All right. When we went in, she had a number of people come in and talk to us, including the town manager, who used to be the chair of the school committee, the fire chief, and the police chief. And they said that she had brought the town together. They were unrest before she showed up. The words were, there were parents in, they had school choice parents come in. It said she was able to close the deal, defend the schools at town meetings without animosity. Let's see, she's a very good bridge between the, with her leadership quality, she's a very good bridge. Patty's very solid, progressive, and prepared at meetings. She attends seminars and shows presentations, and she uses policy issues and dialogue issues. She's just really good. She's innovative. She considers new ideas. She had a very, very tight budget for Holbrook. It's really tight. And what she had to do was, she maintained a really good relationship with the unions, and she had told them that they just could not afford department heads. And she said, look, for a year you have to without them. And she promised them to come back. She'd renegotiate. And she did. After a year, they brought them back. And the unions just loved her. She's got a really good relationship with them. They have this thing called the silent negative. They said they were losing students. They're in a really unique position because of Blue Hills and all the Catholic schools around this. They're losing a lot of kids. And they call it the silent negative. And they said they were leaving, just walking away and going to other schools. And one of them quoted, he said, no one should have to leave public schools because they are fearful of the quality of the education. And, yeah. And what they said she was able to do was she was able to get the community involved. I mean, she's out there. They said she's visible at every single event. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's the Q&U wedding, which I hadn't heard before. Yeah. She goes to them all, and they said she's out there. The kids know her. She knows all the students. It says she's good at developing relationships with the community, public, and parents and teachers. And let's see. Somebody said that she identifies the problem, she focuses on it, and she attacks it. They just were very impressed. She reaches out to haters, and she's not intimidated by conflict.
She reaches out to haters?
That's what it said.
Okay.
Somebody said it. And we had asked, when she had won, we were with the kindergarten teachers, and they said, when did she win you over? Because they just loved her. And one of them said when she, on the very first day, she had an inspirational speaker come in, and she just got everybody worked up, and she said, this is going to be different. And they said, it's been different. And everybody, for all three of them, nobody wanted them to leave. They knew that they were growing and that they were good and that they were meant to move on eventually, but they didn't want them to go. And one lady pulled me aside and she said, she asked me to talk to you, but I really didn't want to because I knew I was just going to say glowing things about her, and I don't want to. So it was nice. They did move up in a level. Oh, and then they did an interesting thing. And this isn't about her, but she proposed this, but everybody is trained in Orton Gillingham. They took their time, and everybody is, and so especially the kindergarten teachers, I got lost. I got a mother face. So I did. I went in. She wanted to show her room off. I went in, and she was so proud because she had brought all these kids up, and they were reading with their fingers, and she was showing me all her scores, and she said they're all up, they're all passing, they're all doing well, and they were very excited. And she She gave Miss Lally the credit for that. And I could read you all my notes, but somebody else want to talk?
Nicole?
Well, the one thing that came out of all of the talking to her, and I will say the depth of Dr. Lally's site visit was really impressive. We met with administration and with staff and with parents, and we also met, as Lynn mentioned, with town leaders like the fire and the police and the town administrator. But she also brought in students, which was quite refreshing and very poignant. I was very impressed with the depth of the visit with Dr. Lally. However, the thing that kept coming up that I kind of got tired of hearing because it came up from every person is how present she is. That she is just present. She is at every event. She is in every classroom. She is there. She is very, very present. And so that's kind of what I took away from her visit, is that, her vision is just being really involved and, solving problems or talking with people right then and there. And again, like Len mentioned, not being afraid of conflict and taking care of it, nipping it in the bud and doing it right then and there.
Good, thank you. Mark?
I too was impressed by the variety of people who came to meet with us, town officials, staff, parents, school committee members, students, and how throughout each of these populations there was a recognition of her presence in the schools and in the community at large. So not just during school hours, but very much a participant to her, a distant community at evening hours, and that she is personally known to everybody, and vigorous in conveying her interest and her views, and reaching out actually in which other people have said towards where there's difference, to not ignore or avoid, but to actually reach out and to make relationships and to make friendships and to promote understanding where there's difference, either in the community or even in staff, to figure out what kind of resolution is possible in the most personal way. And likewise, hearing more than once remarks about how both the community as well as some aspects of staff had some tension and perhaps disunity that was resolved in ways by her presence and her active personal outreach to people.
Okay. Another perspective is that it was impressive what she's been able to accomplish, and she is in a perfect spot for her because of the work that she's accomplished. She's a relationship builder. Though it was identified, she's a relationship builder in that town. She's been able to bring everybody together, so I don't want to repeat what you guys have said. So I think that makes sense. Any other comments on the site visit or the reference checks on Dr. Lally? Lynn?
I just want they said that she was very good at introducing initiatives in a timely and user-friendly manner and fun way.
Okay.
Which I thought was great.
All right.
She was flexible and accommodating.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to move into Dr. Mosley. Who did reference checks on Dr. Mosley? Kathy and Nicole. Kathy.
So for Dr. Jamal Mosley, I talked to Susan Owen, and she's the business manager. They work together about finances. When he was a principal, he had to, work with her on the budget, so he does know about budgeting. His section, but he is a learner. She described him as somebody who is just completely interested in the whole picture, so he wanted to learn more. So he was always asking her a lot about the budget and working with her, even above and beyond his section, because he wanted to be involved in more, to learn more. She said he was team-oriented. If he leaves, he'll be greatly missed. She sees him daily. He's the kind of guy who's always stopping in and spreading his warmth. His communication skills are great. He's very kind, he's understanding. What she said a lot about him is he's calm and he's even-tempered. And one of the examples about his excellent communication skills is he was chosen to be the bullying and harassment committee lead in their district. And he is that because he should be that, because he has the ability to involve everyone in those situations, be thoughtful, be warm, hear, but be heard, and engage and calm. So she just said he's so good at that role. She said that she has definitely seen him grow as a manager. He was a high school principal. He didn't have originally a lot of experience in the central office, but then he came in and he wanted to know everything. He spent a lot of time with everyone, getting to know what they did so he could do what he needed to do effectively with them. Jamal is known for taking it and running with it. He researches things, he's thoughtful, he takes the time to learn, to listen, and to get results. Everything he takes on, he does get done. She said that his role as assistant superintendent is so much different than the person who was before him because he's expanded it so much, because he does take on so much and gets so much done that they keep giving him more and more and more. Has overcome some problems, and a problem that because that was one of the questions, that she cited was, again, with the bullying and harassment committee, there was a more escalated issue where police were involved, and he really took the lead and got it to resolution. He definitely has a great moral compass. He's one of a kind. He thinks for the whole group and the team. He doesn't focus on himself at all. He's present in mind. An example she gave of what a good man he was is that there's a lot of situations where the payroll person clerk gets yelled at by people, substitute teachers, possibly parents, different people come in and yell at the payroll clerk, and he never just sits in his desk and listens over the wall. He gets up, he walks in, he diffuses, and he walks out. So I just thought that was one of the stories that were shared. But he never doesn't step in. He's a step in kind of guy.
So he addresses the issues. Got it.
All right. I talked to a couple of different people about Dr. Mosley. The first is a current admin at Somerset Berkeley who worked with him while he was principal at Somerset Berkeley, and she said many of the same things. Most of all, that he is just effective at what he does. Sets his mind to something, has a plan, follows through, does it. And that was actually a theme of his thing, is his follow through is really quite impressive. He's collaborative, respectful, again with the integrity that he is a man of character, and integrity was mentioned quite often. Again, lifelong learner and very deliberate in his decision making. That he thinks things through and is very deliberate. And then I talked with a current staff member at Sharon High School who is in their music department, and just kind of asked her if she has any interactions with him, and she said, well, obviously I deal with the assistant principals more, as far as the administration, because they're my evaluators. But she did have a story that when Dr. Mosley first started there, he was responsible for establishing the DDMs in several departments, and her department knew it was coming before he got there, and started working on it. And when he got there, he was very excited about starting this project with them and getting to know the staff and getting in there, and eventually learning their language when it came to what they thought was important in establishing their district determined measures. And so very collaborative, again, and very consistent. And that was the thing that came up with him quite a bit, is that he follows through, he's consistent. From meeting to meeting with him what is going to be required of you and what is expected.
Any other reference checks on Dr. Mosley?
So I originally had a reference check I was not able to sync up with prior to me going.
So do you have a reference check?
20-day, but I was able to be put in contact through a teacher with another teacher in Sharon. And it was very positive, collaborator, great recall, just from, previous meetings and so forth, to be able to put that together, and just very engaged, in high energy.
Good.
That's the feedback, was all positive.
Okay, thank you. Site visit to, who went to Sharon? Lynn, Nicole, Mark, Alina, John. And Kathy, I'm so sorry. Kathy, you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. I was very impressed with the way that he organized the day for us. At first I was dreading it because it was like 8 to 2 and I was like, but it went very fast, and the people that came in we learned a lot about the Sharon Public Schools and the programming, but also the role that he played in taking it to the next level. And Kathy mentioned a lot of the things about him personally, a person of integrity, cares about people, an excellent listener, and somebody even said that he'll be listening to people and hold himself back from saying things so that people can complete their thought. He doesn't inject himself in. It's more important for him to listen and take away from the people who are talking. We learned a lot about the FLES program, that's the foreign language in the elementary school program that they have started, and I guess there was some opposition to the program, and what we heard was that to put the program in the elementary school, there had to be some tweaking to the music schedule, so everybody went nuts. You just don't mess with music.
Yeah.
But anyway, what they said was that he did a lot of outreach to the opposition, and it was like he was talking to people all the time, and even though he was repeating the same things and the same message, he did it in a way to build understanding so people got to know him, and so to build support for the program. So it's in first grade now, and their goal is to have it be, I guess, through grade 4, because and then in 5th grade they have an exploration year. But he's been very dedicated to working on that. And then there was the 2 people that direct the FLES program were having trouble getting people together to do summer work, to write the curriculum, and they couldn't get anybody. And so they told them they were having a hard time. And so they said within 2 days they had their whole committee, because he went around and approached people personally about the importance of being involved. And it wasn't just foreign language teachers on the committee, but reading teachers, special education teachers, and he was able to help them build the committee they needed. Somebody described him as glue that brings disparate groups and ideas together. I thought that was pretty good. Kathy mentioned the bullying and harassment committee. I guess there was an incident between staff members, a director who had a pattern of bullying behavior.
Oh, yeah, let's not go into
No, I'm just, because it's stuff that happens everywhere and nobody talks about it. And the fact that they would shine a light on this here, to me, speaks volumes. And that they set up a committee to look at what the issues are and to make adults feel safe in their workplace. And what came out of that committee was that people needed to be trained in self-advocacy and, who to go to when you need help. So, but he's the leader of that, and the same thing about follow through, that ideas don't fall off the table. He sees them through and he keeps people involved. People love him. I said, who doesn't like him? And it's not that they don't like him, but his challenge area appeared to be with the elementary curriculum directors, only because that's not his area. And it's building the relationships and building understanding, and the way that he uses his skill in building relationships to learn about the curriculum, to understand, to build that team, because that's his team. And this is his 2nd year there, so it's the building process. But that's what people admire about him, that he's willing to do the work, he's willing to validate the work that's already being done, and to help people see the potential in what they do. One area where the IT director said, Sharon has struggled with creating a culture of inquiry. And he was talking about the creation of a district-wide data team, and they were tripping over each other and nobody was cooperating, and then he became the co-chair with the IT director and got them focused. But it takes time, but he does it through listening, recognizing people's concerns, and trying to work towards the common good, because it's all about understanding how you use data to improve teaching and learning for kids.
Anything else salient?
Everything I've said has been salient so far, I beg your pardon. One thing that he did when he was in Somerset and they were building the high school, they were going from a school that had no technology to one that was going to be, beaucoup technology, and helping the staff transition to that. And he engaged these consultants, Tech Edge, and they're currently working with him now in Sharon. But the idea was to work with people about how do we help you move comfortably to use this technology, and how do we create criteria for the decisions we're going to make. All of that was done with his staff, and the people from Tech Edge said they have never seen this type of a transition from no technology into a brand new state-of-the-art building go so smoothly. So.
Wonderful. Okay, Lynn?
One of the things that came out is he says that your teacher is the person in front of you. I guess he keeps telling that to everybody. So that is, he's always learning. He's a great communicator that does not like email. That's right. He wants you to talk to him. He started, or they had a fledgling Metco program, and so he mentored, when the person went out, he mentored a person to come in to help get that program going, and now it's pretty successful. So he's pretty happy about that. What they say is that he's got a very, very effective character when he follows up. He's got a really good character, and he's so positive that it's contagious. You just can't help but catch whatever it is he's excited about. Everybody was gushing. You already talked about Fless. His leadership style is thoughtful and at ease. He's not pushy at all. And he puts people at ease. He goes with what's available. He's not one to rock the boat, but he deals with what's handed to him, and he just makes it better. And those are comments that people had. He's got a very team approach. He'll stand up and address whatever he has to address. He looks for the negative so that he can be proactive, and he just moves forward. And he's a great collaborator. And he's a phenomenal person.
Okay.
He's knowledgeable in rules, laws, and policy.
Rules, laws, and policy.
Yeah.
All right. Mark?
Let's see, adding to what people have said, very hard worker and just very diligent learner for whatever challenges that are placed before him. And again and again, people remarked on him holding back in order to listen well. That's just a tremendous strength I find anybody to be able to really listen well to people surrounding him. Again, numerous times people were marking on his integrity and honesty, and also as well his follow through. The things that were handed to him would be completed and accomplished and wound up in such a way so that he got handed more other things that maybe nobody were previously thinking about giving him, because the other tasks have been accomplished. I think it was him that the union leader remarked on how he was an excellent listener as well, and that they apparently pushed something that they were perhaps incorrect in doing so, and conversation between them about union on the next round of negotiations for marking and being able to convey that we're mistaken and being a listener participant in the teacher negotiations. I think those are the primary, well, also, and remark again and again about conflict resolution as a leading area of desire to reach out and to help resolve in all flavors.
All right. Nicole.
And just to add just what Mark said right there, there was a quote that I kind of liked a lot, which was, he loves to address discord, and he does it early, and he does it often. So, the themes that came out for him was how good he is at follow-up and follow-through, and his integrity and his honesty. He's an early adopter. He likes to listen to new ideas. He is flexible and effective.
Good. Any other comments on the visits, references?
And again, nobody wanted to leave.
Nobody wanted anyone to leave.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of a testament to the work that the screening committee did, all the folks on the screening committee. We had, we had residents and parents come to the meet and greets. We had well over, I don't know, Alita, how many responses do we have on the survey? We have an overwhelming number of folks filled out, both residents and staff, and that's the results of the survey are posted on the school committee tab in the news from the school committee. So if anybody wants to see those comments, they're up there. We had Sean O'Shea come with us. We had Alita, Dr. Bates. Thank you for shepherding our candidates all day for the entire time that they were here, and the teachers were so positive, and every one of the candidates made very positive statements about the students and how respectful, what was it? They're respectful, they're polite, they're engaging. It was just, you felt really proud to hear them to see the district through their eyes. So to all of you folks and everyone that's participated, especially the school committee, thank you so much. So now that we've gotten all of the data out on the table, without objection, let's move into the discussion and your opinions. Again, I want everyone to consider your comments, but share them. Okay. I think I could pick somebody, or someone could raise their hand and start. And I'm looking right at you, girl. Because it's the prize for being your last meeting. This is the biggest thing we have to do all year. You should lead us off.
So I think we have three incredibly talented, incredibly wonderful, warm, smart, intelligent candidates. I like things about each one of them. Between the things that you say, they all seem to shine in one area or another. I think they would all move our district in a good direction. So do you want me to what do you want me to do?
If you have an opinion on who you think would...
I guess based on all of the feedback, and I really appreciate, I liked the yin and yang, especially of Lynn and Nicole, the summary, and then the detail, and Mark's additional detail. That was very helpful. I guess, to me, it seems like Miss Clinchy might be a front runner because of, one, her experience. It's overwhelming the amount of experience that she has in so many different aspects and levels. And I really liked what I heard when I spoke to her reference about student first and her collaborative nature with the whole group and the ability to engage. So I guess that's my opinion.
Okay. Mark?
I do think we have 3 marvelous people. But, and I find interesting all 3 of them reach into difficulty to try to resolve it, whether personal, or organizational, or otherwise. I think it just speaks to each of their personality of wanting to be around people and to make the world a better place, and the world that they're working in a better place. And I find that I think each of them is capable of leading our district and leading it well. I regret that I have to choose, in fact.
But you do, and you can.
I feel like the judges are the worst.
I regret that I have to choose.
I think Jamal has a great future in him. I think he's going to be a tremendous superintendent and educational leader in the state and possibly nationally. I would like to have seen him have a little more experience in a central office, perhaps as a superintendent, perhaps a couple more years as an assistant superintendent. I think he's capable of growing into this district as well. I think each of the people who come here will take time to come to know everything that's going on. I'm sure the current interim superintendent has plenty to learn about what's going on here. So that's something that I would like to see in him, and I think there are some particular challenges that we have that would benefit from having more experience and from him. I think Dr. Lally equally has a fair bit of experience, and also has really made some hard decisions that I respect. That she's in the process of bringing her school to a level 1. They discovered a particular teacher that teacher and its students in the next several years were behind in their test scores, and it was clear that this person was not performing, and that teacher was eased out fairly as soon as reasonably possible. So I really understand and take to heart that she's able to do difficult things that are not comfortable. And I really appreciated her outreach. For Crunchy, I am very appreciative of her deep and wider experience compared to the others, which added to her personality makes her very attractive for me. That she has been superintendent for 2 different places and has experiences in different kinds of difficulty. Where she here will present a 3rd kind of difficulty. I appreciate that she's knows people and has experience at the state level and has some both experience and understanding of how things operate there, and also because of that experience is not afraid of engaging with the state directly about both positive and about challenges that we would face. So for me, I find her to be the person I'm most favorably disposed to choose for.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start down there with you, Neil. And if you'd like to skip, let's, if you're not ready.
No,
Oh, you are?
I am.
I heard the
I'm going to start.
Well, I mean, I'm following 2 very eloquent people here. And I don't want to be a brick, so.
But you're usually eloquent, so don't feel that you have to compete. We really just want to know what you think.
So again, I don't think you're going to have one person at this table, or these tables, say that there weren't 3 extremely highly qualified, capable individuals. And I think Mark just got done saying at certain points in their career. I think Dr. Lally has some experience that she'd be able to bring. Obviously, very strong in the teaching and learning. The background information I've been able to get through my own looking and so forth support that quite a bit. Dr. Mosley, I think he's going to be a rock star. I think he's got all the elements that he's putting together a progression, and he's going to be someplace where, looking back, we're going to say,
We're going to say good for
he's
him.
unbelievable. Yeah, and but I think this district is facing some challenges that I wouldn't want to see that sidetrack somebody that's a rising star like that, because this could be a make or break thing for someone. And so I would go with Ms. Clenchy, and my rationale for that is the depth of experience. The idea, and Nicole, actually, your comment on the site visit was one of the things, mentor. Because when we were looking for an interim, I kept saying rock star, and it's really about the mentoring, addressing the climate survey that we had, addressing the NEASC issues and so forth. And this is somebody who's proven. And when you have people that are breaking down along the side of the road, and while I wasn't there, I did have the emails, and I was just getting these emails, so when you come here and it was just, everything was people were tripping over each other trying to get in and give feedback. And how can you go wrong there? So I would put my support towards this connection.
Okay, thank you. Lynn?
Dr. Mosley is awesome. He really is. When you talk to him, he's there for you, and he's intelligent, and he's engaging, and I think he could talk about anything, and I think he would learn anything. He's constantly learning, and it shows, and he shares it. And I think that he's got some awesome ideas. I mean, that program that he was given for the flesh, that was not doing well, and he turned that whole town around, and they love it. And he did it economically. He worked into the budget without raising it. It was just minimal. Lally went into a town, everybody we talked to grew up there. They were there for generations. It was a towny town. And they were wonderful. And she went in there as an outsider, and she turned them all around. She did a great, great job. And I think the thing that gets to me is when we were in, I don't know if I can say this, we were in the room when it was all over and everybody left. Sean got up and said, Sean O'Shea said, can I say it?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. But she's, I love the idea that, when I was on the interview and they said, okay, proactive, we can know what's coming and we can be ready for it, and because our initiatives have been really, really tough on the teachers and probably on the students too, because they've had to deal with them. And if we know what's coming, at least we can deal with it. And I love that the cultural change. She made a happy. She made a government office happy, and they wanted to work there. And it was great. And the fact that she can see potential in people, that superintendent, she was in learning. She was in reading and learning, and she said, you've got something here, and she helped grow it. I think she'd be a good fit for us.
Okay.
But again, any one of them would fit.
Okay. Kathy, Cody Ann.
I would echo what everybody says. I was nervous getting into this because I've heard too many horror stories about superintendent searches and reopening the search, and I'm going, not us. And it wasn't us. We did quite well. Very impressed with them, and hard decision. I feel very differently tonight than I did after the first set of interviews, because I feel like the process allowed us to see the candidates in many different ways and really get to know them. And they're all good leaders, they're all hard workers, they all love kids, they have so many things that distinguish them. And for me, what I come back to is among the needs of this district is somebody who can develop leadership, a leader of leaders. And I think you might have mentioned about people who worked with Brooke Clenchy in one capacity that went on to bigger and better things. And I think that that really speaks well of a district when you see people who start out as teachers become principals, become assistant superintendents, become superintendents. You hate to leave them, but it says something. And even if people decide to stay, having somebody who can create the opportunities for people to grow in their positions. And I think that of all the candidates, Brooke Clenchy has that capacity, and I think that she can take us where we need to go. And I'm really, really hopeful that she can lead our leaders and mentor our leaders and have that type of transformational leadership that we need.
Wonderful, thank you. Ms. Nicole?
I again echo what everyone says. Getting to know these three superintendent candidates has been an honor. It's been really, we've learned a lot. And so, again, I'm with Mark. I regret having to make a choice. Lally, like Lynn said, her conviction with her staff is immense, and she went in there earning their love and respect, and it was really good to see. If I have the opportunity to vote for Brooke Clenchy later on tonight, I will do that with excitement and great confidence in how she will handle our district and move it forward. But I do want to say, this body has been very bold these last couple of months. We have made some bold decisions. We have come together and
all year,
really
we've come together.
Really tried to push this district forward. We have a great district, and we know we have a great district. That's why we have put in the hours that we have put in. I want us to be a spectacular district. And if someone has the potential, the best potential, to make us spectacular, it is Dr. Mosley. We run the risk, yes, with his extreme learning curve, of having an okay superintendent. We do run that risk. But spectacularness takes, if I made up that word, I'm sorry, takes risk. And I would really like us to take the risk.
All right. How the heck do you follow that? I'm not going to go into all three of them because you all have done it for me. But one of the things that I said on the site visit that I went on was that I believe that Nashoba is a real good district. But I believe we have all of the ingredients that we need to be a stellar district. So when I went through my process and made my phone calls and talked to folks and went on the site visits and sat through the meet and greets and followed up with parents and read every single response from the surveys, I did it through the lens of who could make us, and I think I said it at the visit, I really believe we have everything we need to be on the path to be in the top 10. We've got amazing teachers, we've got dedicated administrators, we've got parents who are like give their expertise, who can take all of that wonderfulness and pull the greatness up and out and push it forward. And we've also got legacy issues. Let's face it, we've been dealing with them all year. We have legacy issues. Let's not be afraid to admit it. We're addressing the legacy issues with the administration. Things are starting to move forward. But we need a superintendent to come in and take control. I mean, thank you so much. But we need a superintendent to come in who's going to be a permanent superintendent, take the good work that Dr. Bates has done for us, take some of the things that we've uncovered that we know that our schools need, that we know that we need, and how do we drive that forward, but do it in a way that's not going to make people uncomfortable, that's going to be respectful of the people who are not happy and be respectful of the people who know that we could be that much better, but they're afraid or whatever their reason is. And I think in order to get us there, we need a series of mentors every single level. We need someone who can mentor our executive team. We need someone who can teach our executive team to mentor their team. We need someone who can mentor the principals so that they can then mentor their department heads, who can mentor their teachers. We need the custodians to feel like that they have a voice in it. We need someone to pull us together. And we have some significant challenges ahead of us. I'm not saying they're bad, but we've got a district that has to be run. We've got union contracts within this year. We have 2 union contracts that are going to be significant because with this school committee, we're not just going to sit back and say, well, we'll give them a little bit extra money. We're going to pull the contract apart and say, is this really serving the need of them and the district? So we know there's going to be a lot of work there. I said I was going to only speak briefly, sorry. We had, there's the bus contract, what else did I put on those slides? There's just so much work. So someone's got to be able to come in, move the district forward, handle whatever we're going to do with the high school, handle the contracts, handle the non-union contracts, handle taking the MASBO report and resolving whatever things may be in there. We have a lot to do in 1 year. And it's not going to go away because, as you know, when you dig through things, you find others, and that's how greatness comes, because you don't just accept what the status quo is, right? And that's what we all said we wanted. So if we're looking at that, I think they all had the passion they needed. I love the way he connected with everyone. But when I look at fit, and I look at challenge, and I look at where we all said we wanted this district to be, and the parents, the teachers, everyone wants us to be there. Brooke Clenchy I don't know how I could say no. And it's not that we wouldn't be well served with Dr. Mosley at the helm or Dr. Lally at the helm. I think Brooke Clenchy had a unique understanding of what we're going through on a level we never even had to admit. And to me, that means she gets us already. So, given all of that went on a little longer than we expected, didn't it? Does anybody, all right, so the appointment of the superintendent, I need to share this with you. The appointment of the superintendent requires a majority vote of the school committee, which is 4 of 7 affirmative votes cast for any of the candidates. Is anyone ready to make a motion at this point? Kathy?
I move that. I move that Brooke Clenchy be appointed superintendent of schools for the Nashoba Regional School District, subject to the successful negotiation of a contract of employment mutually agreeable to the candidate and the school committee and signed by both parties or their designees.
Do I have a second on the motion?
I will second.
Thank you. Is there any conversation? Any more? No? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Congratulations. Thank you to everyone that's helped us out. Thank you so much. Okay, so we need a couple more votes, if you would.
Can I
Neil.
ask a question? When do we know that she would accept the contract?
Okay, so hold on. We got a couple more things. We're going to get there. Nicole, we don't need this one.
We don't need that.
Wait, yes.
No, I don't think we need that.
We need this one. All right, so the next thing we need is, we need to be able to enter into contract negotiations. So Dorothy, you want to come up and chat with us, Dorothy? Dorothy, for those of you who haven't seen her ad nauseum. Yeah, pull a chair. Only because we constantly pull you in, is our Mass Association of School Committees representative who's worked with us hand in hand. Thank you for everything that you've done to help us get to this point. Please, can you fill us in on the next steps, and then we will take the vote on the negotiations.
So obviously you need to inform your candidate that she is your pick, and
You need
arrange
to
with her.
inform me.
No.
I-
We'll talk about
okay.
that. There's a nice phone call I don't get to make. There's a couple not so nice ones I do get to make. So then you would discuss with her, to make arrangements to begin negotiations with her and her attorney, I assume, and
Yep.
you and your attorney.
Yes.
That, you would just arrange for that process to happen at a point convenient to the parties.
Okay. So we do need to take the vote on that. So Nicole, will you?
I vote that we direct the Personnel Subcommittee to begin the contract negotiations in conjunction with legal counsel.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? It's unanimous. Dorothy, you and I will talk. And I think we've done it. Congratulations.
Everybody. Nice job. Nice hard work on everybody's part. You guys really.
You've done a lot of hard
Well,
work too.
yes, but you guys really did your legwork and your homework, so you should be proud of getting to the decision that you got to.
Terrific. And Alita, you have the announcement I sent earlier today to send out to the community.
Do you wait till you hear from
We,
Yeah, well, it's not too late.
right, right.
So, yeah, Alita can wait until you.
So I'll let her know.
Yeah.
So you just have to strike out. I'll talk to you about it later. Okay. Given that,
Do we need to have a motion to not have a meeting tomorrow night?
no, we just
We just
cancel it.
cancel
Yeah. I would like to get a motion to adjourn, if anybody would like to do that.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor? It's unanimous. Let me know when you're off.